Hello and welcome back to Off Track Podcast with me, Dave Neal. My guest this week is AJN Steelstock Kawasaki young gun Max Cook. But before we get started, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who came up to the Ixon BSB Fan Zone stage over the weekend to enjoy the rider chats that we provide there, and also for your kind words on the podcast as well. Make sure if you enjoy what we do that you like and subscribe. And if you'd like to join the Patreon scheme that we have, click more in the description below. The link is there and you're more than welcome to join us and get early access to our shows and to ask questions of the guests as well. But that's enough from me. Let's get on with it. He's an absolute star. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Max Cook. Enjoy.
AJN Steelstock, FS3 Racing, Max Cook. Welcome back to Off Track, mate. So good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Dave. It's nice to be back. It's been quite a while. I think might have grown up a little bit as well since the last one. So yeah, this should be a nice few minutes.
It was Alton Park at the start of last season after you'd done Navarra. And I think that we sat down and it was the start of the second season and you're still finding your feet with the Kawasaki and finding your feet with the Superbike generally. Because it's not an easy step to make, is it, into the Superbike Championship? No,
not at all. And I'd like to think, I've come a long way since then now, and this year's gone really well, to be fair. I'm happy with, my progress and the teams as well, and we're at there's such a good atmosphere now in the garage. It's by far the best year that I've had racing. I'm just enjoying every minute of it, to be honest. So,
what's changed in you now between when we sat down last time and this third, for me, what is a pivotal season in the BSB Championship? The same for you, same for Rory, same for Charlie. That third season is always the one where you suddenly go, the switch gets flicked. And it feels like the switch has flicked this year.
For sure. It's definitely confidence. When I entered Superbikes, I came from stock 600 and, it was a massive jump, and there was a good half of the year of that belief, or that almost like that imposter syndrome where I felt like I shouldn't be there. And now I know I can do it. And, the last half of 2024 was really good because I was doing some good lap times, some competitive lap times at a lot of the circuits. And now I'm coming into this year knowing that I can do that and knowing that there's no reason why, I can't be fighting at the front that weekend. So I feel like now I've got it in my locker now, which I turn up at every track knowing that I can do it. So there's no self-doubt anymore. That's 2024 Max, that's gone now. So now it's now I can focus on almost like enjoying it, and it's all coming together, and I'm happy and the team's happy, and it just seems to be working well. So yeah, I'm in a good position.
So tell me how the difference, how it feels out on circuit, because myself, a lot of the viewers, the listeners, will never get to experience what you do out on circuit in the British Superbike Championship. And we'll have a look at the results and the average positions as we get further in the conversation. But to see where you are now and the confidence that you have, what's it like out on track now, knowing that you are a top 6 contender on a regular basis?
Yeah, now it's changed a little bit. So last year and the year before, I was really heavily relying on getting a tow from someone in front, so just learning off them, and it was good for me at that time to soak it in. And now it's switched now, and I like to be on my own and riding in my own way, and that I know is a decent lap time. Like I did this morning, an FP1. Just didn't see anybody the whole 40 minutes. It was great. I was just out the whole time on my own and ended up having a good session. So it's totally flipped, and I think I've learned so much. And I think the thrill of riding on a BSB weekend when the stands are full and all that stuff, you don't really get anything better than that. Also, another thing with riding the Superbike class, the biggest thing which is difficult to get your head around is that the bikes are really stiff, and they only work when you go in like on the pace. So you got to be on the limit straight away for the bike to work. So when you're building up, even FP1 now, you can't afford to have 5 or 10 laps going slow because the bike doesn't work. So you have to get your head around it and go all out straight away. And go for it just to get some sort of feeling from the bike. So I felt like a victim to it a few times, where you come in and say, oh, the bike's not right, what have you done? Like, it doesn't feel the same, but you're actually like 3 seconds off, so it's just not going to work. So to get to get your head around that and to be able just to almost take your brain out and just go for it straight away after not seeing the track for 12 months is quite difficult. But I'm glad I've been able to get my head and adjust to it. So yeah, it's doing okay now.
But also this year, the pace has gone up massively as well. With the return of Brad Ray, and we're on lap record pace everywhere. They've got a new construction rear SC0 this year as well to throw that into the mix. The pace is incredible. So everybody's had to go half a second quicker than they've ever been before at every circuit. And you've got to try and keep up with that as well and develop your confidence within the bike at the same time.
It's absolutely insane. I've overtook my PB at every single track we've been to so far this year, yeah, by about half a second. But that new construction tyre, I didn't realise it had such a massive effect, especially on my bike, on the Kawasaki. The bike's strong point is actually low grip, end of the race sort of thing. So you'd think on paper it perhaps wouldn't go into our favour, but really we can find some more time, which is great. And I've managed to do so, but obviously everyone else has as well. So yeah, we've had a few more upgrades on the bike, which has been quite nice. And they've definitely worked this year. We've had that at the start of the season. And I just think that was a massive step that we needed. And it's been just so helpful to have Christian in the box as well. And we're pushing each other quite hard. We're both, obviously Christian has a lot of experience, super fast rider. And, you know, he obviously wants to beat me, but then I'm in my third year. Obviously, I'm hungry for it as well, so I want to beat him. So it works really well, and obviously we're friends off the track anyway. So the dynamic in the team is perfect, to be honest.
It's like we stood outside last night. You and I were chatting, and Christian came along, and I said to him, I said, the elastic doesn't stretch far, does it? So even whether it's through free practice, through qualifying, through the races, you can always see each other pretty much. Yeah. If not battling together.
We're always just wedged together. Every time sector split, we're just like, we're together. And then even off the track as well, we do some track day coaching together with Jamie Whittam, and we're always together there. We're both instructors, we're in the same group there. And everyone's like, where's your mate? And I'm like, I can't get rid of him. It's everywhere. No, it's good.
But at this point in your career, how important is that? Because it's your third year in Superbike. You had Lee Jackson in your first year as your teammate. And that was a difficult year for Lee Bob. There was setup issues that were struggling to find a sweet spot for him. Yep. With the swing arm and various other components. He never really felt comfortable a lot of the year. So he was kind of focusing on his career. Mm-hmm. You had Jason last year who won a race here at Donington Park. And now you've got Christian in. For me, good lads the other two are, this seems to be the relationship that's helped you take that next step. Is that fair?
100%. I think I've been so lucky with my teammates. Like both Lee and Jason have been awesome teammates to me, 100%. But obviously they've come into the team and their expectation is for wins, you know, whereas I was the up and coming rookie as such, and I was just off the pace for them. And you know, it's a bit different in that sense, the dynamic, because when you share data within a team, it was all sort of one way, because I was just learning off of them, whereas they couldn't gather so much from me. There was obviously the odd few results, which was good, but I say generally, it wasn't much sharing going on. It was just me taking it all, I guess. Whereas this year...
Wax the sponge.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this year, obviously I'm fully up to speed on the bike. Christian's come in, he's had to learn a new bike, so he got to learn a load from me at the start of the year, and now he's fully up to speed with his setup. And it's really bizarre because he's actually on quite a different setup compared to me. We're both two different setups, and we're both putting in like the exact same lap times and positions. So it works a lot better that way too. You know, he can learn off me, I'm learning off Christian. So I think the dynamic now where I'm up to speed is just working really well. So yeah, I definitely can't complain.
How much you're enjoying the process of this year and extracting the best out of the Kawasaki's NX10RR to the best of your ability? Because I suppose in Christian's terms, he can compare it to a BMW, he can compare it to a Ducati, he can compare it to a Suzuki. So he's had that experience through BSB. He's never ridden a Yamaha, has he, at this point?
No.
But for you, it's just the Kawasaki that you've learnt your trade on a bike that does everything reasonably well, but also has that, like you say, the end of race grip. where you come into your own.
Exactly, and obviously the Kawasaki, I've got nothing to compare it to, but it just feels like my bike. I know exactly what the bike's going to do in every situation. I feel like I've figured it all out, and it feels mega because, you know, I'm just riding it on the limit everywhere. And for a racer, that's what you want. That's why we do it, is to be on the limit and knowing that you finish the race or finish a session and you've put everything out there, and you know in yourself that, you know, I can't do any better than that. And that's, you know, the feeling that you get, and it's that satisfaction which you get quite a lot with the Kawasaki. Obviously it's a mega bike because it has no weak point. It's just strong in all areas. You know, it's such a well-rounded bike. As Darren calls it, the hammer, because it's just good at everything. So yeah, it's a really, really strong bike. But yeah, obviously there's been some comments about it and whatever, but it's just nice to be able to prove them wrong, I suppose.
You got the podium at Thruxton, which is now becoming an annual thing.
Yeah.
And I know it's difficult with riders because it was kind of the same for Danny Buchan. He would traditionally go well at Knockhill and Cadwell. Same until this year. It was the same for Rory, would always go well at Knockhill. You always go well at Thruxton. But what's also showing now is that consistent top 5, top 6 finishing as well. And if there's a podium available, you're going to be in the hunt for it.
100%. I think that's where I'm at now. That podium is getting a lot closer. It's got close pretty fast, to be fair. I had a good start to the season, but then I think after that wet race at Knockhill, I kind of built up quite a bit of momentum. You know, the rounds are in every other week now, from Brands in July till Brands in October. So yeah, the Brands in July was a little bit better. After that, Thruxton, another step forward, and then we've got Cadwell, another step forward again. And now we're here at Donington, and I feel like I can do it this weekend. I've got this belief which I perhaps haven't had before at another track which isn't Thruxton. And it's kind of a monkey on my back, I suppose, because I just want to get another podium, when not for it to be at Thruxton. I know I don't want that to sound awful, but obviously to get a podium anywhere is awesome. But I want to know I can do it at another track, and then that self-belief and confidence will come. Like, it will just be there then.
Well, that's opening the floodgates then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is how I see it. And I get exactly what you're saying. It's every podium is superb, but you don't want to be labelled as, well, Max is on the podium this weekend.
Yeah.
Whenever we go to Thruxton, you want to be in the mix every round that we go to. And I think the one thing that really impressed me at Cadwell Park was, you can overtake there, which is a really difficult place to overtake, and even more so but from me watching, it's like it's a little bit tight. And I should have remembered what we got. We got a 6 2/5.
Yeah.
At Cadwell Park.
Yeah.
In your 3rd season, for me, that is a massive tick in the box to go, Max is here.
Yeah.
And if you can do it there, you can do it anywhere.
Sure. I think
no pressure.
No pressure. Thanks. And it was my biggest accomplishment of the year, if I'm honest. I know obviously the podium at Thruxton was awesome, but that weekend, with it being my best weekend overall, you know, across the 3 races, it was the one I was most nervous of the entire year, just because of how bad it went last year. I was just really not myself last year, and
And the year before.
And the year before really wasn't good either, because I put it in the fence and missed the whole weekend. So
sorry to remind you of that, but it's my podcast.
Yeah, thanks for that. And then I just worked so hard there. The team have supported me a lot, you know, to do some track days there, and I just really wanted to get my head around it, and on the big bike. Because I've won races around there on the little bikes, you know, on the 600s and on the Moto3s. You know, I've won races, but it's not the track's fault at all. It's just obviously muscling a superbike around there. So yeah, and this year to be able to come away with the 6th and 2/5 and end up getting like 4th overall for the weekend, I think, was such a relief for me, just to know that I've got it now. I've got it in the locker. I can go back next year, and for how many years I can do Cadwell now. So
that's why I made the point of it, because I know that the podium at Thruxton was great, and it's always great to stand on a Bennett's British Superbike podium. It's an achievement in itself, but even I thought Cadwell was a bigger achievement for you, and we haven't spoken about this before we came on. I thought Cadwell was a bigger achievement for you than Thruxton.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's one of those places. Kyle's been down that route before. I think with Kyle, when did he start? 2020, was that Kyle's first season on the Superbike? Something like that, maybe.
I don't know. You're the facts guy.
I try my best. I try my best. You even called me professional yesterday, which I was so proud of. I'm sure, I think it might have been 2020. The end of 19 was, yeah, I think 2020, and it took Kyle till kind of last year.
True, yeah.
To take, I know he did it in 23, but that was his third year at it. And when we were there in 21 on the BMW, on the test night, he did his ankle.
Oh, really?
And then missed the weekend, and then came back for Snetterton 2 weeks later. But he never liked the place. And it only took him until, I think, last year to finally gel with the place and go, oh, actually, I can do something here. He did it well in 23, but he definitely did it well last year, taking the wins and taking it to Tommy and Glenn. But it takes a point for as we said earlier, for the switch to flick. And seeing you at Cadwell Park, I thought that was a huge achievement. And I think that's elevated your position now in the championship and elevated your worth in the championship to somebody, to team owners, to the other riders, to everybody who goes, finally, he's here.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you've had the potential, but you've got to deliver. And to deliver at Cadwell, mate, that's like proper chapeau moment.
Yeah, honestly, I was such a relief, to be fair. As you know, I just wanted to be able to do it, and I was driving home like so happy. I said before the weekend, a top 10 would be like a win for me around there, obviously because I was just so far back. It was just so like, not just a bit depressing because I was coming out of the bus stop chicane up to the bottom of the mountain, and the leaders were coming down the start finish on the other side. That was in 24. I was like, no, this isn't good. And then to be able to flip that around and for them to be only a handful of seconds up the road, honestly, I really, really am proud of that weekend.
In the same sector.
Yeah.
If you want to look, if you can't quite see them, you're still in the same sector.
Yeah.
And that's a massive achievement. And I think from the point of view, as we said, why I mentioned 23, because you haven't had that amount of time racing a superbike around Cadwell. You missed 23 completely. 24 was difficult again.
Yeah.
And then to come there in 25 and to turn the results round and go, hey, Cadwell, have some of that.
Yeah, and another thing as well is Cadwell straight after Thruxton. So I've always gone well at Thruxton. So I come into Cadwell like, yeah, I've got all this swagger, confidence and that, and it just punches you right in the face on the test night. So now it's like, I've kept this wave going now into the showdown, I suppose, part of the season where we got the revisits and obviously Assen now, but now it's like, this is the time where I've got this momentum, and usually I'm at this point trying to build it back up again, and then I pick it up again by the last round at Brands, whereas now I'm on this wave, so I just want to be able to keep this going. So yeah, I'm definitely in a good position this year. Yeah, very, very proud of myself for it, to be honest.
You should be. But when you look at, I think the best result of last season, was it Brands, the final round?
Yeah,
the best result of last season was the 5th, wasn't it? And that was the point of rebuilding from Cadwell. Whereas now, no excuses, Max.
Yeah, I know.
No excuses.
Thanks for the pressure again. Thanks.
I mean, it's just being realistic, that's all.
Thanks.
I can't.
No, it's true though. No, but you bang on though. I do need to. I so desperately want to get another podium or even a win. Obviously, that.
This is how you've won championships before. You've done British Talent Cup. You've won Stock 6. You know what's going on. You know how to put a championship together. But over a 33 race British Superbike season, consistency is key to everything. And now you have that fire in you. You've come to Donington this weekend. It's a pleasure for you to come at this point in the season rather than off the back of a tough Cadwell. You can now, we've got 4 races. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. We've got 4 races at Donington this weekend, 4 sprint races. And then we've got 9 races then for the end of the season. So it's going to come thick and fast, like you say. We're here this weekend, 2 weeks to Assen, where I've got a weekend off and you haven't.
Nice.
Then we do Alton and then we do Brands. And it's consistency now to keep that momentum of what you have. you're not in a position to be able to let it slip. It's not like we've got an extra week off. You've done Assen before, you've done Assen with the rookies. You know which way it goes. It's a big, wide, sweeping track. It may well suit the Kawasaki. Jake Dixon did well on the Kawasaki there in 19.
He did, yeah.
So,
Buchan as well.
And Danny Buchan's done well on it as well. Shaky's won on a Kawasaki around there as well. So we know that it can suit the circuit. There isn't a weak circuit coming up for you now.
No.
You're only 20 points behind Christian, who's only kind of 10 points, 12 points behind third place. There's a real opportunity now, potentially for you and Christian to finish third and fourth in the championship.
Yeah.
In whatever order.
Yeah. Honestly, it's obviously I'm third, hopefully, yeah.
Well, we're sat here now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
At 7:30 tonight when I'm sat with Christian? No.
No. That's to be expected. So,
absolutely.
That's fair.
Ever the professional.
Yeah. I think, well, but since the time I've been in British Superbikes, I've never looked at the championship.
Oh, really?
Never really looked at it. Never really paid any attention. I've just been doing my own thing, taking one round at a time. Whereas this year, it was news to me that I was 12th before Thruxton, and then I just bumped straight up to 8th, which was really good. And then I managed to increase that gap again, and so I've maintained 8th, but increased the gap to the guys in front. So now I'm like, oh yeah, third ain't too far away. So now I've got that to look at as well. I think you're in such a different mentality as well when you're, say, in a championship fight, because you don't care what the situation is, you don't care what track, what weather, you're just going to do your best, no matter, you're going to really go for it. And there's that extra level. I think obviously you've seen it with Tommy and Kyle at the last race. You know, it didn't matter what really the situation was, they were winning. And I think it just changes the whole thing. So, you know, I've got 2 bogey circuit, well, I had 2, now with Knockhill and Cadwell, and I was really making them a big thing. Whereas when you're in a championship fight, it doesn't matter where you are. You're going to deliver your best no matter where you are. So now that's the sort of headspace I've kind of gone into as well, where that third is potentially there and it could happen. So I want to be able to make it happen, you know. So,
but it's that extra fire as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's something that you haven't considered previously, to all of a sudden have the opportunity now, even to be top 5 on a season like this, with Brad and Kyle on the form that they're on, your teammate who is Mr. Consistent, Danny Kent, who we know will have a stronger end to the season than the middle couple of rounds that he's just had, because he's not a fan of Cadwell either. So that was damage limitation. Leon, at the moment, can't quite deliver the strength of results he did early part of the season. And at the moment, and the same with Rory.
Yeah.
Rory's had a bit of a dip from Brands, Thruxton and Cadwell. So he's going to be wanting to get back on the podium here as he was back in May. But you know the bike can win around here. Jason's proved that. And watching you overtake into Mansfield, of all places.
Yeah.
Everything on the front, all the weight on the front of the bike, and a left-hand turn that you've not had for 2/3 of a lap, because kind of the gooseneck don't count too much. It's that tick in the box now that, and you said it after the race, it said like, I've got the speed, now I need to learn to overtake.
Yeah.
And that's where we could see with Danny back in May last year against Christian, against Jason, my apologies, that he just didn't quite have the confidence to throw it up the inside and make it stick. Kyle doesn't enjoy that kind of race. If there's a gap, he'll take it. Whereas Glenn, Andrew, Tommy,
they make the gap.
And that's the difference. And I think that's the next step in confidence for you, that will see you take that step into regular podium and top 5 contention.
Yeah, I'd 100% agree with that. I'm at that bit now where I can fight in a group, but it's just refining that, you know, on my bike, I can run well on my own, and you know, you take the wide swooping lines, whereas if you're behind a Ducati or BMW or something, they've got, you know, some good top speed down the straight. So obviously if they get away, to do them on the brakes is quite difficult. So hence why, like, the Mansfield is quite a unusual move, I suppose, but it's the only one where I could be able to do it. But then obviously you really got to trust the front. And I actually crashed at Mansfield in FP1 because it was the last few minutes and I just wanted to try something different and it didn't work. But then I've done it a few times
That's
this year.
what FP1's for.
I know, but I'd take a little, I take the mick a little bit on the last lap just to see if it works or not. So obviously I've done my lap time, done the session, whatever, but that's what I do. I just kind of do that. So I did it here as well at the start of the year. I just took the mick going into Goddard's and I crashed.
In what
So
way?
I was broke really late. Just went. So that was it. So I know I can't do that. So I know where the limit is. So at least I know in a race, if it is beyond that marker, I know it's not the best thing to do.
But that's the learning principle, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've had so much experience over the years. For the ladies and gentlemen that haven't seen our previous podcasts, you've done British Talent Cup, you've done Junior World Championships out in Spain, and more recently, we'll talk about, you've even done Moto3 Grand Prix.
Yeah.
In the middle of a superbike season.
It was for science. I think it was an experiment. No one's done it before.
I can't wait to talk to you about that. And you've done Red Bull Rookies, and you've come through Stock 6, and you won the Stock 6 Championship at a canter on an R6 with Binchy and Ugly and Co.
Yeah.
You know how to put a season together, and it's the same kind of route that Ryan Vickers had, although Ryan went kind of straight into to Stock 6 rather than doing the junior classes. But I think throughout the paddock and throughout pit lane and the fans, everybody knows that Max has talent. Just the opportunities, same with Charlie Nesbitt, the opportunities were there, but they're an absolute fortune.
Yeah.
If you want to be an Alvaro Carpo or a Max Quiles or a Piqueras, the investment that's needed if you're not already out in Spain is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But their loss is our gain.
Yeah, exactly. And well, thank you for that, actually. I realised what you said there. That was nice. But yeah, I think growing up, my goal was always to be in the GP paddock and to be world champion. And I think that's what every kid's dream is, when they're riding. And that's always what it was, racing's my life. And that's always what I've been dreaming of. Obviously, doing in my younger days when I was 14, I won the what is now the British Talent Cup, but it was called the Standard Motorstar Championship then, and I won that with Gary Wilson. And then that was actually at the same time where Nigel, team principal FS3, started showing an interest. And my dad ran the hospitality unit at both Cool Fab Racing at the grassroots level and here. So that relationship got going. Obviously, I won the championship, and then Nigel showed an interest. He started backing me from then in 2017, which then I got selected for the Red Bull Rookies Cup and for the British Talent Cup, and that was some really cool years. And then I got promoted from the British Talent Cup up to the British Talent team in Junior World Championship on a full-blown Honda Moto3 bike. So that was a really cool part of life, to be fair, really cool experience. Obviously, I was 16 doing all that, and that was a fully funded, fully paid for ride by Dorna. So I was super lucky because I think a year in that championship cost between 150 to 200,000 euros. Which is the same as a decent house, or just for 8 weekends of bike racing. So yeah, it was a really, really cool experience, and I really just soaked it all in, I suppose, and did the best what I could. There was a few bits that didn't go my way. Like I grew to what I am now, but when I was 15, I don't know what my mum was feeding me, but I just shut up over winter, and I was this size now, and I used to have to starve myself just to try and weigh like below 60 kilos, but the lads I'm racing with are really tiny and they're like 40 kilos, and that on a Moto3 bike that doesn't have any power I was not doing, it weren't going very well for me then. And then COVID happened, and then I never found out the reason why. It never continued, which is something I would love to find out, and I never really got closure on it. But then it just didn't have anywhere where to go, unfortunately, after that. And then I did Stock 6, but in FS3 colours. So Nigel Kawasaki helped me when I came back. Obviously, he supported me all the way through. And then we've did that, and then obviously on to bench racing on the Yamaha R6, and then managed to win that, and that was a massive catapult up. And then see, Nigel's been seeing this story unfold for the past 6 years. and has given me a shot at Superbike. So yeah, I suppose that's a bit of background for viewers who haven't heard of me before or anything, or didn't know where I came from. And yeah, that's where I'm from.
It's important because from following British Talent Cup back in 17 and 18, it's where Storm came from, it's where Rory came from, it's yourself, Scott Ogden. So that nucleus, Fenton Seabra, was he a bit?
Yeah, you were.
Fenton was in it as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
So there was a mass, and Josh Watley. There's a raft of British talent at that point when the British Talent Cup was new. You're all on the same white livery, same helmet, same leathers, slightly different helmets. Scott went on to Moto3 GP, but it's interesting what you said there, because he's still literally living on porridge and avocado, bananas, because he has to be so lean against these little 40, 45 kilo jockeys. That it is a brutal. When we sat down at Thruxton a couple of years ago in the back of Ugly and Co's trailer, and you're explaining then that it's just biology and physiology. You can't all be a Marc Marquez at 5'6" and 60 kilos. There comes a tipping point. But if anybody out there does know why Max didn't carry on in the Junior World Championship, let us know. Let Max know, because it gives him closure and then he can just get on with it. So it's fine. Please let him know.
Please.
It's just the one thing that keeps him awake at night.
Yeah, it does actually, yeah.
Why? But like we say, you move on now to the British Superbike Championship, and it's watching that growth and watching how you understand where you're at and what you're doing. Are you still able to enjoy it at this point, and you realise where you're at, take every weekend as it comes, and go? And you're driving home with Tilly, although not this weekend because you literally throw a stone and nearly smash a window. This is cool what we get to do.
Oh yeah, it was in going back. It's almost a blessing in disguise, because you spend so much time away, and there was because perhaps some weekends didn't go very well, and your team isn't English, or English isn't their first language and such. Sometimes the enjoyment gets taken away from it, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And whereas here, obviously, there's a lot of banter in the garages. You're at home Sunday night. Stuff like that is really cool. You get to ride your bike at the weekend, really competitive racing. Everyone has a great weekend, and then you're home, and it's mega. And I just think here I'm so happy to be able to do this and live this life. I'm just totally living the dream. And but obviously I just want to be able to win this, because the dream is still there. From an athlete's point of view, I still want to be able to go to World Championship. I still would love that opportunity to just experience it, and just an athlete, I think, always wants more. As a racer, I just always want to be better, and for me to be able to get that opportunity, I suppose I need to be winning here. So that's my full focus at the moment, is just to be winning here. And if anything happens, hey, that's awesome. But if it don't, then I just want to keep winning here. So
I think that it's a great outlook to have, because it feels like it's getting harder and harder to go to World Superbike, to Moto2, to step into the Grand Prix paddock from national racing. And I've had this conversation a couple of times on the stage, where we have the talent, but they don't have the opportunity. We're not going to get a 2008, 2009 when Cal and Johnny and Sykesy and a few others moved on. It's never. Those days aren't there anymore. World Superbikes are looking at MotoGP refugees coming in. They're not looking at national championships to promote people. So it is a really difficult situation, but in the right circumstances, and it's being looked after by Nigel and Darren as well. Darren, we've got to mention Darren. Thank you, Darren, for the use of the hospitality unit as always. And I'm sure Nigel will be wanting to do his blog at some point. I've moved his little satchel out of the way. And it is knowing where you are at any one point in time and going, do you know what? If it's this for the next 10 years, bring it on.
Awesome. Yeah. Honestly, that's totally where I'm at. And I just think, I think gone are those days as such. I think Moto2 has become so competitive now. And obviously to get a MotoGP seat is becoming harder and harder. That's why there's this backlog of talent. You got, like, at the moment, you got obviously Canet and Dixon, who were thinking about going to World Superbike. I think
Absolutely.
Dixon could be, and you know, usually that's not the case. And obviously, there's such a pool of talent at World Superbikes. They're looking up into the GP paddock, and they're getting closer together, whereas perhaps the national championships are getting further away from that, I suppose. So while I'm still young, I'm still 22. That's why I think there's a bit of time on, well, not time on my side, but I need to get a move on a little bit. I've got perhaps 2-3 years before perhaps it's a bit too late. I think the chances might get a bit slimmer, which is why I just want to be doing the best I can and making my mark now, I suppose. But yeah, if anything happens, cool. But if not, if anything happens, please message me. I'm joking.
I'm sure Darren and Nigel will love that.
No.
But I think if an opportunity came at a higher level, they would be the first ones to literally go and do it.
Yeah.
Get that experience. It might work, it might not. Rory's experience in Moto2 wasn't the best, but it was an experience he can't replace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if that's the opportunity, so be it. There'll always be a seat here for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, then you're now, for me, you're kind of picking up the crumbs of the top table of BSB.
Yeah.
At 22 years old, that's a great position to be in.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy with it. And I think, you know, Nigel and Darren, they've got my best interest. So they tell me all the time. And I think they would love to see me have success with them here and then perhaps see me go on, which is like the ultimate, like the dream story, really, you know, from Nigel and Darren's point of view.
Nigel will probably retire straight after that.
That's it. And I want to be able to do it for them, you know, and that's the dream, that's the vision, which, you know, I'm working hard for. But yeah, I just think, you know, we need to see what comes, I suppose.
It's the unknown, isn't it? We've no idea what's around the corner. It's silly season coming up in BSB now. But I think there's a host of teams now where deciding on manufacturers, deciding on how many bikes they're going to run before anything can be done with riders. He's on a bit of a precipice at the minute before everything kicks on. But I'm sure we'll talk about that later in the season as things move on, because it's all a little bit, it feels a bit fragile.
It does, yeah, I agree. It feels a little bit unstable, a bit uncertainty with some guys. You know, it's just September now. Yeah. And no rider is signed yet for next year.
Which is unusual. Normally Cadwell things are kicking on.
Yeah, it is unusual.
I think the series is incredibly healthy. We're going to have a great season next year and we're here for the long run. But I think just working out those teams and manufacturers and how many... I spoke to Stuart Higgs at Alton Park at the start of the season. And he was very much of the opinion, I don't care if I have 26 one-man teams or one 26-man team. Don't care.
Sure.
We'll have a show.
Oh, sure.
We'll have a championship.
Oh, that's cool.
So it doesn't matter which way it drops, as long as he's got the right amount of riders on the grid, and we're blessed with a lot of talent in the championship.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
So it's fine. Every championship won is a championship earned, because you have career lads, Glenn, Kyle, Brad. I know he went to World Superbike for 2 years, but they've all cut the teeth in the British Superbike Championship. So if you beat those, and we've never had as many ex-champions and reigning champions on the grid.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're going to win a championship in the next couple of 3 years, you're beating the best of what we've ever had to offer.
Yeah, which is, they've set the bar high. I think throughout all of my career, every championship I've moved into, it seems to be like the toughest year on record that they've had. It's like, just as I'm kind of getting there, you've got 6 champions on the grid. It's like, oh, give me a break, thanks. But no, it is good. And I just think it all goes like dominoes, you see. Like when one rider would sign, that's it. It just goes boom, 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 all the way then through. So it's just because one guy hasn't gone yet. That's all it is. Just who's going first, I suppose.
And who's that guy this year? Brad. I think once it's official with what Brad's doing, then everything else suddenly got exactly that. Everybody go, right, okay, so that ride's available and that ride, well, that one's not available now, so we'll do this and we'll do that. And then everybody else can kind of fall into line, can't they?
Exactly.
It's a fascinating little scenario, but and then people setting off rumours to find out how quick they come back round to try and upstage something, trying to find out the wheat from the chaff of what's real and what isn't.
Well, it's cool, that's the saying.
Sorting the wheat from the chaff.
Very
like a
nice.
combine harvester, when it takes the wheat from the field, it separates the wheat from the stalk. The stalk is the chaff.
Is it?
So that's
I'll say that.
that's the saying of separating the wheat from the chaff.
Thanks. I'll use that one.
Tell me about Grand Prix Moto3. Tell me about Silverstone before we get the Patreon questions out.
Was the coolest experience ever, I'd say. It was so random how it, not right now, it was just mind blowing, I think, how it came about. So my girlfriend's brother is Eddie O'Shea. Obviously, yeah, me and Tilly have been together for like 6 years, so he's like my other little brother, I suppose. He's in Moto3 currently for MLav Racing, and me and Christian were on a track day at Mallory rider coaching, and I got a missed call from Ed when I was out, so I just called him. I was like, yeah, what do you want? And he's like, oh, your name come up in the group chat. Do you fancy doing the British GP this weekend? Oh, like, not really, no, I don't think so. It doesn't seem right. You know, I was like, no, I was just me being defensive because I knew I wouldn't be able to win.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to do anything. And then I spoke to Christian and I was like, do you think I should do it? And he was like, yes, you've called him up now. You're like, you need to do it. Don't have any regrets. He's like, you got nothing to lose. Like, just do it. So I had like 5 minutes really thinking about it. I was like, actually, I would love to do it. I think that would be such a cool experience to be able to do with, I guess, nothing to prove or anything, but just the whole experience itself would be awesome. So yeah, so I phoned Ed back and said, yeah, just say and see what comes back. And then that evening then continued to just be crazy. Obviously then I phoned Darren just to see, and Nigel, and then they both spoke with...
Agree the right first and then ask.
Well, pretty well, just say, yeah.
To ask forgiveness and permission.
Yeah. I think it was in that order anyway. And then, but anyway, they knew Michael anyway, so they were just fine to speak. And then also I think Darren had to let all the other guys know. And to be honest, I didn't actually think I would be allowed to do it. And then when Darren called me, I said, yeah, you're fine to do it this weekend, no problem. It's all fine. I was like, all right, so that's that then.
I'm off to Silverstone then.
And then it was, I didn't actually tell anybody, just because I didn't think it was going to happen. This was on the Tuesday before the British GP. And then at 7 o'clock, and now my phone started going. And so I just went on Instagram and it's already out. I was like, oh no, because at this point they hadn't asked for any details from me or anything. And I was like, oh no, I've not even told my mum or like my sponsors or nothing. So I had to quick like do it all, and then everyone was so excited. It was like the best response I've had, to be fair. Not one negative comment at all of like, why on earth is he doing it? I just thought it was so cool, obviously, for Michael to be able to let me do it, because he knows, you know, I didn't get the chance when I was younger on the Moto3, and I think to be able to be the only person in Superbikes to have gone back to Moto3 to see how it goes. Very interesting. There was, so basically with my weight, I'm 80 kilos with leathers on, which is 20 kilos more than what Eddie is in his leathers. And basically I was losing a second on each straight at Silverstone. So no matter what I did, no matter how fast I went around the corners, I would lose 4 seconds a lap. So I think I was about 5 or 6 seconds a lap off the top. But I managed to qualify, you know, which was really cool. And you know, those bikes are just mini MotoGP bikes. They've got full data, full mapping, everything you can think of. And the crew chief was pretty blown away at some of my braking going into the arrowhead. He's like, I've never really seen this before. And I really struggled with turning the bike, because obviously I'm used to big muscling the superbike around. So I was going into carts, just banging down one gear, throwing it in, and the bike couldn't handle it. It was bouncing up and down like you wouldn't believe. And as a few friends, Danny Webb stood on the bank and he was like, what on earth is wrong with your bike? I was like, I'm manhandling it too much. It just couldn't take it.
Not letting it
You have to be really delicate, almost ride it with like your fingers like this. I was going through Maggotts and Beckett's like with the bike bouncing around. I was like, no, this can't be happening. And then obviously for me, I just thought, you know, is this how it is or what? I weren't too sure. But then I got going, got better and better. Managed to have a good damp session. I think ended up like 14th or 15th, which was decent actually. And I was praying for rain, because that's the only way I could have really got through. But fortunately, it was dry with a headwind, so I was quite far back. But
everything you don't need.
Yeah, but I managed to qualify for the race.
But that was the incredible thing as well, with the weight disadvantage and not riding a Moto3 since 2019, to actually qualify against the best lightweight riders in the world. It's not shabby.
Yeah, it was cool. And that Moto3 bike is actually really fast. I forgot how fast it picks up. When you go from like first to fourth gear, you shift through the gears really quickly. So they're not slow, but they're really, really stiff. They feel like if you put an engine strapped to like your road push bike, you know, that's how it feels. It almost feels like it's got no suspension, no like weight transfer or anything, no flex at all. So yeah, so I come in and did 15 laps Silverstone. A big cramp, just tucking in like this. I was stretching so hard just to try. The straights were more hard work than the corners, just trying to cramp myself.
Holding your breath, trying to pull everything in.
Yeah, but it was the coolest experience ever. And obviously massive thank you to Michael and obviously Darren and Nigel for letting me do it. So yeah, really, really cool experience.
What an experience. You talk about the bike jumping around and the front end. It kind of just reminded me of Thruxton.
Yeah.
Which, if you can't win a race, go viral.
Sure.
Because that was quite impressive in the closing stages into Club Chicane, holding it with everything that you possibly could. And which also tickles me, Steve Day, the TNT commentator, who you've now been christened Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah.
Which it should be Mild Max.
I know. But how's this happened?
Where's this come from? The most mild-mannered, gentle superbike rider we've got, and you've got the moniker of Mad Max, I think. But also, I mean, almost running. Well, you did run into the back of Charlie through church.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Did you come in straight after that?
Yeah.
Or did you carry on?
I carried on. I had a race to do, Dave.
It was in the race, wasn't it? It wasn't even in qualifying, was it? It was in the race. Of course it was. I was thinking you put in. No, it was.
Yeah.
It was the early stages of.
No.
Was it race one?
Yeah,
it was. Wasn't
yeah.
it? That's why I was thinking it was.
That was where I had like 3 massive moments in that one race. But yeah, I just say everything's in control, obviously, until it's not, isn't it? But it is at that point. Like it's like, oh no, and then obviously. Then it's all right. It's like, yeah, it's all fine, all fine. But obviously, yeah.
Into the fastest corner on the calendar.
Yeah. You forget how fast you're going into there. You know, because it's so open, the track's so wide, but you are doing like 5th gear on a superbike. So you're doing like 150 mile an hour going into there. You're like, oh no, this is not going to be good.
And all you did was run a little bit wide and carry on.
That was it. Yeah, it was fine.
And then in Club Chicanes, saving it on your elbow.
Yeah, when that it folded,
front went, rear went,
and at that point, obviously, I'm running in too fast because I had to release the front brake to get the wheel to come back. So going back to me knowing the bike quite well now, I was just able to play with it on the scooter brake and I just pulled it really hard just for it to back in. And the bike's so nice that you could slide it on the rear and it never really digs in or anything. It just settles in. And luckily, I couldn't have got that any better, I don't think. If I was to do that again, I wouldn't be able to do it. But then I didn't actually make too much of a mess of that chicane. So
that was the coolest thing about it.
Yeah.
That, you were all at sea.
Yeah.
But it was under so much control and just explaining it so simply.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let go of the brake, pull it.
And it just happened. But it goes slow. When you're in them moments, time goes really slow. If people explain like a high side to you, they feel like they're up in the sky for ages. And when you watch it back on video, it's just a quick, and you're like, oh, right. It felt like I was massive, like right up in the sky. But it all slows down, everything slows down, which was luckily what I was able to do. So yeah, I'm proud of myself for that one. The only one I really regret, obviously if it was the last lap, where I just really wanted to win. And I went into a church behind Kyle 20 mile an hour faster than what I ever did on any lap that I've ever done around Thruxton. I just didn't brake. I don't know what I did. I just didn't brake. And then the tyre was gone. It was like riding on marbles and the bike was fully sideways going in on the engine brake. And then I picked it up on the gas while it was still sideways. So it looked really good on camera, but it was quite slow and got me third. But, you know, I just was so desperate to win. I just had to do it, but there we go.
Beautifully explained.
Thank you.
I love that. It's something I will never, in my entire life, especially even now, more so now than ever before, I'll never experience anything like that. Thank you, Max.
That's all right. Thanks, Dave.
We've got some questions from our patrons coming up. Our patrons that are kind enough to contribute to the show every month. Thank you to our patrons. If you want to be a patron, the link is in the description, either on audio and on YouTube as well. So scroll down, click it, have a look what it's all about. If you'd like to join us, you're more than welcome. If not, no problem. Just enjoy the show. First question, Maggie Day. Oh wait, hang on. Why should you put that on? Maggie, you've put that on Christian's.
Well,
yeah, she has. It's okay. I never look at these before I do it, so it's new to
fresh,
me.
yeah,
It's fresh.
okay, cool.
It's fresh, and I can't preempt it. So I'll make sure I put that onto Christian's questions, because it's a question about retirement.
Oh, he won't like that one.
I don't think that's going to go down too well. She's put it beautifully. We covered this a little bit, but from Mick Strickland, how good was it to tear around your home GP this year in Moto3? I know you had little time to prepare, but was it fun, and could Moto2 be a future option?
Obviously, that would be the dream, stepping stone, you know, from here, 100%. But it was so cool to do the British GP. It was really cool because obviously you had all the British fans, and you know they go to BSB anyway, so a lot of them knew who I was. You know, there I did a lot of media stuff, did like signings and stuff, and it was kind of a surreal moment, because I was there at every GP when I was really young. Been to every G, all the Day of Champions. I used to do that every year. So for me to be one of them now, it was super cool. But yeah, it was just the coolest experience ever. Just with the fact that there was no pressure, there was no expectation there at all. It was like I could just fully enjoy it. Where, say, if I was able to get the Moto2 opportunity, that there would be a lot of pressure on, you know, because that's perhaps more relatable, and there was perhaps
more
expectation, yeah. Whereas that, no one's done it before, no one would realise, no one would think I'd do anything, so there was not any pressure at all.
It's was fun nice. Weekend riding bikes.
Really fun, yeah.
As a motorcycle racer, what more do you want?
Yeah, really fun.
Mick also goes on to ask, how aware of the two really big moments at Thruxton were you? It still looks scary watching it weeks later.
Yeah, it's scary to watch back, because that's like, oh no, that's me. That's me doing that. But in the moment, it's okay. Like you say, it's all under control, like, until it's not. Which, yeah, I tell the team a lot.
That, I'm going to make a note of that, because that's got to be the title for this week's episode. I'm going to write that down. It's all under control until it's not.
It's true.
I agree completely. I think that makes for a great title. The titles are so important. I think that's a great one. Rosalind Fisher, if you had the choice of picking anyone in the motorcycling world from any class as a teammate, excluding your current teammate, I've just added that bit because I know what you like with Christian, who would it be and why?
What, any
rider from any class, if you could choose them to be your teammate, if Christian had a weekend off, who would it be?
So it's a tough one. You can go down the dynamic as someone having fast or just someone being really funny, can't you?
Give me one of each then.
All right. So for being really funny and just to have a fun year, I would pick my friend Jack Bednarak in Stock 1000, because he just makes me laugh every time I see him. That would just be hilarious. But for someone fast and someone...
Jack Bednarak, unintentionally funny.
Yes, just unbelievably funny. And then for actual real... And just for me to be able to learn, or just to something I just want to look at, is just to see Top Rack, just to know if he's on the same bike as me, just to be able to know what it can do, just to be able to look at his data and just see what he can do on my bike, you know, because I feel like I'm on the limit. Every rider out on track feels like they're on their limit, whereas if you got him doing all different stuff, that would just be mind-boggling. It might be a bit depressing because
roll your eyes and walk away.
I just want to see it. So yeah, in this question, yeah,
that'd be fascinating. That would be absolutely fascinating. Thank you, Rosalind. Andy Dickinson. Hi Max. If FS3 were to switch bikes and give you the choice, which manufacturer are you choosing and why?
Well, this is
a loaded question, isn't it?
It's a tough one. So they have to switch. Listen, they can't.
If they had to switch,
have to
hypothetically,
switch.
if they had to switch, if Kawasaki said no more and there was no Bimoto or anything like that,
Okay.
and they had to switch, hypothetically, which bike would you choose?
I think for my personal riding style, how I am, and obviously riding with other guys on track, I'd say the Yamaha. I would say it's just all well-rounded, like the Kawasaki, all well-rounded bike. And I just think that would suit my style well. The other guy, you know, there's the Catis and stuff that are strong, but I just feel like I would be better suited straight away to the Yamaha.
I would agree. I would agree, purely because you look at Taz, you look at Brad, you look at Kyle. You've won a championship on an R6. Dave won championships and fought for championships on R6s.
Yep.
And I remember I was there when Brad rode the R1 for the first time. And he came back in at Cartagena and he got off the bike and he went, that's what a race bike should feel like, after he'd been on the BMW for a year. So yeah, I would agree with that in that sense, without a doubt. Hypothetically,
Sure.
of course. Which is your favourite track to ride, home or abroad, and why?
Home or abroad? So, yeah, at home, obviously Thruxton's the coolest track to ride, but I absolutely love Anglesey. If you've never been there, you should do a track day on a sunny day.
Who with?
It's Jamie Whittam and No Limits, of course.
Get the plugs in, mate.
Yeah.
That's it. Gives you payment in the week.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But yeah, get up to Anglesey. I know it's a long way for a lot of people, but it's like Britain's Phillip Island. All the corners are like banked. They're all mix of tight and fast corners. And I'd love to do a race there, to be fair. Which is quite a rogue one, because some people don't really expect that, you know, obviously because BSB don't go there. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about
quite a
Anglesey.
different one. Yeah. Yeah, abroad, you'd say Assen is really cool. Obviously,
That's
I've done
convenient.
It's convenient, yeah.
Next 2
It's
weeks.
convenient. Assen, the coolest place, nice country as well, awesome track. So, but the track I surprisingly just do well at is Saxon Ring abroad. I just managed to be able to do well there. Every time I've been there, I've gone well.
Corner speed?
I don't know.
Because it's not outright. There's no outright straight, is there?
But here's the thing: I'm better on my right-hand corners than on my lefts. And Saxon Ring's obviously got all the lefts.
It's anti-clockwise.
Yeah, and
Why
I just
you
go
both
well
got
there.
rights and lefts.
Don't know. No idea.
Something you need to work on.
Perhaps.
Doing all right.
But I'm better on my right. So, but really good at Saxon Ring. So.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Andy. Chris Turner. I don't think this is a question that can be answered. If you stay with your current team, will they run Kawasaki again or the new Bimoto?
I have no idea yet. Sorry.
Right answer.
Sorry.
Because
I've got no idea.
that is the absolute truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, worth asking the question, Chris.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, I don't think even Darren and
No, anyone knows.
I don't think Darren and Nigel know at this point. This is why we say about the structure of the paddock at the moment.
Yeah.
Making some decisions before the rider market can change. So thank you, Chris. From Simon Breeze, why does Max run the 30 plate?
Here's a good one. So 9-year-old me thought that 30 was the closest number to my initials, MC. Right? Which, yeah, MC, you know, turn the M to the size of 3, add a bit onto the C, 0.
With you? Yeah.
30. But now, obviously, my brother-in-law as such is Eddie O'Shea. How much better would the EO be to 30? So he's fuming at me because he'd have picked my number, but he can't have it anymore.
What does he run down?
He runs 8 now.
He runs 8, doesn't he?
8, yeah, because
8 ball.
Yeah, because he got given that number at British Talent Cup, so he just kept it.
And has the 8 ball emoji on a regular basis. And also, what's your preferred training routine, method, and why?
Yeah, so I flicker a little bit. I was always cycling for the last few years, but the past year I've been getting into running and doing Hyroxes as well, which is like the new circuit training thing, which I think, in my opinion, is perfect for what we do, high intensity for 45 minutes an hour, because obviously we race for like half an hour, so I like to do them. That's probably the best thing to do for me.
Perfect. Thank you, Simon. Craig Lowe, what's been your biggest motivation this year, and has it been different to other years?
Yeah, for sure. I think the podium being a motivation is good, but like we said earlier about that championship, now that the back end of the season, I'd say that is a good motivation for me, 100%. So that's what I'm working towards now. Yeah, it has shifted.
And have you felt pressure with people's expectations or your own this season after having some time on the Superbikes to deliver more this year?
No, honestly, I think the team I'm with and the environment that I'm in, I don't really feel any pressure. I think I put more pressure on myself than anybody else does, for sure. And I've had that question a lot, to be honest. But the answer is no. I just know I've got that belief in myself, I suppose. And also pressure's a good thing with me. I think some people either sink or swim. But I don't mind a bit of pressure. That's good. That's why we do it. I think that feeling you get, obviously you miss it over the winter, don't you? So that's why we do it.
You can't replicate it, can you?
No.
In anything else you do?
No.
What do you do? What do you do in the winter? You still van driving?
Not anymore, no.
You
no.
sack that off?
Yeah, yeah.
The East Midlands fastest van driver?
I think I've still got the record because my parcels don't come anymore. So I must still have it.
And Max is still number one. When we spoke last night out the front, I asked you two questions.
Oh yeah.
First question, who would be on your Mount Rushmore of racers?
I would have Valentino Rossi. I'd have Top Rack on there as well. I'm a massive Top Rack fan.
Nothing wrong with that. I think we all are.
I would also have Barry Sheen on there.
Nice.
I think he's very cool. Who else would I have?
It's the third one that's always the difficult one.
No, fourth. I've done three.
Sorry, the fourth one's well done, Mike.
Fourth.
Doing three is easy. The fourth one is always the difficult.
Fourth one's tough, yeah. I don't know. So see, Marquez would be like the safe one, wouldn't it? I think, but I think I can do better than that. Bit of a rogue one then.
Go on.
Oh no, I don't think he's Mount Rushmore worthy though. Nah.
Don't say it then.
What? All right, a rider I really rate.
Yeah.
Is Manu Gonzalez.
Perfect.
I really rate him as a rider.
I agree.
But he's so underrated. He's not.
But
he's not all there.
He's not all there.
No, not like that. If you are watching and you made it this far, you know what I mean. You know?
No, I think I completely agree. I think he is the real deal in Moto2. It's a shame he hasn't moved up this year because Toprak's moving across, and Pramac don't want two rookies in the same team for 1 year, which is why Jack has got another year.
Yeah, sure.
But I think at the end of 26, I think Manu will definitely step up into MotoGP. He is the next one to come through in the same way that Pedro was. I mean, it's a shame he's got to have another season, but it won't do him any harm. And I don't see him being superseded by Quiles and Rueda and Paqueras, Carpe. I don't see those overtaking him in terms of the pecking order. So, and if Canet's moving to Mark VDS, he's definitely not going to overtake him. Sure. So I think he's in it. It's only really David Alonso.
Oh, true. Yeah, true.
Who I think is phenomenal.
True. I just think Manu's route, how he's not done the traditional route through the Grand Prix ladder. He's done his stuff in like World Supersport 300 and had to work his way all around and then adjust to Moto2 and Grand Prix lifestyle. And he's there, but he's there every weekend, every session. You see a lot of riders are quite inconsistent, whereas he's just always there, but rarely seems to get a mention or the credit I believe he should do for it, you know?
In the same way for me last year? I think for me going into MotoGP from Moto2 and he went straight into Moto2 at 16, didn't he, from the Spanish Championship?
You know, Ed always reminds me, in 2020, I called it that he would get to GP.
Did you?
Yeah, when he was in Stock 600, in Spanish Stock 600, he was like just crazy fast. And I called it then. And he was like, oh, if there's a way you could put money on it, if you could put money on it, you'd have been millionaire now. I was like, yeah.
Talent spot.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
The future.
You know the game, Max. You've been doing it long enough. And then the final one, you're organising a 3-day music festival. Who are your 3 headliners?
Oh, man. So now Dave gave me a head start. He did mention me this yesterday, but music is just a weird thing for me. I think I like everything. I don't think there's bad music, but obviously everything's an opinion. I would go. I like what I like, and I like, you know, I do like the IB for the party music, bassline kind of thing. I couldn't tell you who, but then I like the other stuff here as well. Like I like the old stuff like Dire Straits. In all fairness, they have done some good songs. It's a shame they ain't bringing any new ones out, because they're good, they're very good songs. And now I can appreciate that as well. Now as I've got a bit older as well, I can appreciate that music is really good. But then obviously I like kind of rap stuff as well, like a bit Drake, or Dave, British rap, you know, a bit all over the place if I'm honest. But yeah, if you can figure out a lineup like that, then that's cool.
So what we're going to say, Dave, Dire Straits and Tiesto.
Yeah, sounds good.
Something like that.
Yeah,
you got a bit of everything there,
excellent.
haven't you?
Yeah.
Excellent. Mate, you've got a busy weekend. Thank you for sparing us the time. 4 sprint races this weekend is going to be intense. And it will change the dynamic of the championship when we leave here on Sunday tea time. But appreciate your time, Max. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Max Cook.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
A huge thanks to Max for his time, and to the AJN Steelstock Kawasaki team of Darren and Nigel for allowing me to use their upstairs office in the hospitality trailer. That beautiful little place where we film our videos is wholly useful. So thank you so much to both Darren and to Nigel. And once again to Max for his time. Keep an eye on Max's progress, because he really is becoming the real deal in the British Superbike Championship. Next week, it's the man who rides alongside him at AJN Steelstock Kawasaki and podcast host extraordinaire. It's Christian Idden. I can't wait to bring you Christian next week as well. Another fascinating chat and great form as well. Thank you so very much for watching, and please do look after yourself. Bye-bye.